And, all right, so microphones are off. There we go. All right, let me share my screen. If you have any questions, you can type them in the chat. So the first thing is I did put a couple of things in the chat for everyone. The first thing I put in the chat was the 2025 eCom calendar. If you haven't had a chance to download it, you can go to 2025calendar.ecomsellers.com. Again, 2025calendar.ecomsellers.com. If you haven't already downloaded the 2025 key dates, you can go to 2025keydates.ecomsellers.com. Again, 2025keydates.ecomsellers.com. And for Q, there's a Q4 guide that covers a lot of key things that you would do in Q4. Understand we're at the end of Q4, but it is helpful. You can use it for next year. You can go q4calendar.ecomsellers.com. Again, q4calendar.ecomsellers.com to be able to access any of those. So we will get started. So welcome to the 2025 eCom planning session. It is typically a 3-part series. We're going to cut it down to a 2-part series. So we are going to go into part 2. If you don't already have a notebook and pen, I want to encourage you to go ahead and get a notebook and pen now. Have it handy because you're going to actually start writing out your game plan for 2025. We're going to take a deeper dive into the rest of it tomorrow in part 2. But for part 1, we are going to get started on our 2025 game plan. So a little bit about me. My name is Nicole Whitlock. I am the creator of eCom Sellers. I'm also the creator of Achieve Digital Marketing. I'm a single mom, 2 special needs teens, young men who keep me running and gunning all day long. They are the reason why I do what I do. I'm also the vice president of a nonprofit that specializes in supporting and helping individuals and families with special needs. So my 2 boys, one has Asperger's, the other one has autism, and they keep me extremely, extremely busy. I got into the e-commerce game because of them, because I needed a solution to be able to cover their special diet, their supplements. These are things that typically are not covered by insurance. I wasn't getting any help from the state, so I just needed a solution. And that was the thing that I started selling stuff. People would give me things, and it was random when it first happened. Somebody contacted me and said, hey, I have some stuff in my garage, and I know you have those boys, you're not getting any help. Do you want to sell that stuff, or can you use it? And I was like, I don't know. Went over there, grabbed it, looked at it, and then I started having garage sales, a bunch of them. Most of your cities and your counties are going to have some limitations on how many garage sales you can have, but I was not caring at all. So I pretty much had, I'm going to guess, I don't really know what the real number is. It was probably a garage sale every other weekend. And you're not supposed to do that in my county or my city, but I didn't care. And people from the church would just keep giving me stuff, and I would use that money to cover their deductible, medical premiums. I would cover all kinds of stuff. Someone to give me relief, respite. So I would pay for somebody to do that. And I used the money from those garage sales to do that. I made a lot of money in those garage sales. Like, people would regularly come to my house because I was having garage sales. Now, what got me to stop having regular garage sales is I did get in trouble twice. And someone introduced me to eBay. One of the guys who stopped by, he's a picker. Pickers are people who go to garage sales, find things to sell. And so they are finding things that they can resell for profit. He had a big warehouse, 17,000 square feet warehouse, and he had a bunch of stuff from different garage sales that he would just haul his trailer around and pick up stuff. Well, he had a grandson who was autistic, and I was explaining to someone else that I was doing this because I needed money to help cover expenses for my kids. And he overheard me, and he was like, what? He said, well, I have a bunch of stuff that I need to get listed on eBay. Would you do some listing for me? So we ended up going into a partnership. It was a 60-40 split. I got 60% because I created the listings, and he got 40%. And it was pretty cool. So that's how I got into it in 2014. In addition to running into some people that were doing DSD and Infinii, which was a network marketing company at the time, or whatever you want to call it, MLM, whatever. And so I was doing that. And that's how I got into eBay. And then I eventually transitioned to Amazon. But that's the short Cliff Notes version of how I got to where I am right now. My passion is helping sellers get organized, get focused, get consistent, and actually get profitable. I've helped quite a few moms that have children on the autism spectrum that needed a solution to cover their summer camp. For most people, they don't know that for our kids to go to summer camp, it typically costs anywhere from 3 to 4 times the amount that it does a regular child to be able to go to camp. And we're already struggling financially because we have all of this medical debt and we have all of these treatments we have to do with our kids. And so having to spend 3 times the amount when you're not getting any state help is very frustrating. So I use my e-commerce to help cover their summer camps, and I help other moms get into the e-commerce game just for Q4, make money and get out, so that way they could use that money to cover their deductible for the new year. They can cover their summer camps for the new year, and that's actually one of the strategies that I teach to a small group of people. So I do one-on-one, like private coaching for that. In any case, that's about me. So this session is about e-commerce planning. We're going to go through a reset. We're going to talk about refocusing on what's important in our lives and in our businesses and re-energizing our business. Now, here's the deal. I am going to talk about business, but I want you to also think about life at the same time, because they do go hand in hand. There is no way that you can run a business and not be thinking about your life. So this is really a journey of everything that you do. Your business sort of intertwines into this. Your life sort of intertwines into your business. It's just part of life. All of us have 24 hours in the day. And of those 24 hours in the day, we're awake 16 of those, most likely. Maybe 18 of those, only getting 6 hours of sleep. And so of those 18 hours, we're not just running our business. We're fixing food for our kids and picking kids up, or if you have kids, we're taking care of somebody somewhere out there in the universe, and we're sort of making time to do our business. So in my life right now, personally, of the 16 to 18 hours that I'm awake, I probably work in my business, my e-commerce business, roughly about, if I'm lucky, 15 hours a week. That's where I am. If I'm lucky, it's going to be somewhere between 20 to 15. But I do run other businesses. So that is my dedicated time. So clearly, I'm not spending my entire life running my business. So when you are making notes about what you want to do when it comes to your life and or your business, just make space for both, because you're going to spend the majority of your time living your life. So in Reset, we're going to focus on your mindset, your thoughts, and how we got here. We're also going to reassess what we did in 2024. We're at the end of 2024. We're going to reassess that. And Refocus, we're going to talk about establishing a new game plan for 2025, putting together a strategy, using our lessons learned from 2024 to build our 2025, and re-energize things that we can do to get remotivated and refocused back into our e-commerce business. Let me tell you, I have, not directly, but indirectly, sort of at times stopped and started my business for different reasons. And when I say stop, it's not a hard stop. It's like a passive stop. And I have to refocus on something else because my kids, or because of something else. Maybe I'm working on a project for somebody. And so I'm only able to work on my business a little bit. Then I go ramp back up and get hardcore into my business. So those are times where I'm like re-energizing and refocusing my energy back into my business. And that is how I've gotten to a place where I can work about 10 to 15 hours a week and still make a lot of money in my e-commerce business, because I've kind of scaled it in and dialed it down, dialed everything in. So I have processes in place to help me to keep my business moving. So in any case, we are moving from 2024 to 2025. Some people are happy about that. Some people are not. It's okay. I just want to say there's this misnomer that we think that next year is going to always be better than last year because last year was horrible. Okay. Last year for me was super tough, super duper tough. I lost 2 very, very important people in my life, and I met them in the e-commerce game. both of them. And then the year before that, at the end of the year, I lost another person that I met. They used to do my taxes, and she's in the e-commerce game as well. So I lost three very important women in like a 14-month span. And they are all tied to me through e-commerce. And that's how we all met. That's how I met them. That's how we connected. And then, of course, it branched into something so much more. In addition to that, my son graduated from high school, and we started school, and it's just a lot to try and work through helping an adult become an adult. And, neurotypical kids struggle with this now, but everybody does. But for special needs adults, it is a lot to try to get them going and keep them going and keeping them from having meltdowns and out in the public eye. So anyway, 2024 has been a very stressful year. Very, very stressful. And so in all of that, I try to remember that life is terribly, terribly short, especially with the fact that I lost two really important people to me in this year. One of them was a business partner. I did a lot of work for her and her team, and her business, when she died, literally folded. And when I say folded, like it dissolved in like less than 3 months after her death. No one was there. She didn't have a succession plan in place, and no one was there to keep the business propped up. And it was the hardest thing to watch, to see that business sort of fold like that. So I got to let somebody in, I think, admit. So in any case, admit. All right. We got two people coming in. All right. So in any case, just reminding you that whatever you decide to do, wherever you decide to focus your energy and your time, remember that life is truly short. You're going to meet some amazing people, maybe on this e-commerce journey, maybe not. Maybe you're into something else. Maybe you run a bounce house company, or maybe you bake cookies, or you're really good friends with your neighbors. But, since 2020, when we all experienced a lot of loss in 2020, 2021, 2022 due to COVID, some people have built stronger relationships and stronger connections with their circle of friends, and other people have not. I just want to encourage you, just remember that life is short. Hold on to those memories of those people that you connect to. Try to stay connected to people. Try not to be hard and callous, and try to stay prayed up for sure. But in any case, we're moving on. So now that we're going into 2025, again, this whole illusion of, it's going to be great because we're going into 2025 is a whole new year. Well, the one thing I will say about 2025, it gives you an opportunity to recalibrate your life and recalibrate your business and recalibrate a bunch of stuff. So we have to let the past be the past, because you can't keep walking forward if you're always turned around looking backwards. You can't. You got to move forward. Otherwise, you're going to fall into a hole. So we're not going to carry all of our luggage from 2024 into 2025. We're going to drop off our luggage, and we're going to build new plans, a new life, or reset, recalibrate everything. So with that, the one thing that we all have is stuff to do. And so trying to balance the stuff to do with balancing running a business is not the easiest thing in the world. We have an endless list of things to do. Okay. And so we have to prioritize what's the thing that's going to make the biggest impact in our life, what's going to make the biggest impact in our business, what are the things that are going to move the needle or improve things, make better, whatever the case may be, because there will always be stuff to do. That's just a fact. Can we get other people to potentially do some of the stuff or help us or eliminate things that are really not a priority in our lives? Yeah, we can work on all of that. We can. But I just need you to know the list will never stop. There will always be things to do. And so we have to figure out what's the most important thing, what's the biggest priority that we need to focus on. Okay. For 2025, one of my things is definitely making more money. I have to make more money, which means I'm going to refocus back onto my e-commerce business. And so that is going to be interesting for me because I've also got to relaunch a candy vending business for my son so that he doesn't have to be in a customer facing job. Because if you have Asperger's and you have a lot of anxiety, sometimes interacting with people is a lot. And so with candy vending business, he doesn't have to interact with a lot of people. And so I used to run a candy vending business back in 2008, 2009, 10, 11, 12. I ran a candy vending business. So we're going to go back and start running a vending business as well. And so that's something I have to start in 2025. In addition to that, just sort of scale my current e-commerce business. So I don't know what your game plan is, but we're going to talk about whatever your game plan is for 2025. So again, if you didn't get your notebook and pen, please get your notebook and pen so that you can begin the process of writing down some of the things, because we got to reassess 2024 before we can plan for 2025. We have to go through the exercise of lessons learned. All right, so it's go time. It's go time. Let's go. So the reset. This is us resetting where we are in our life and where we are in our business. If you don't have your notebook and pen, definitely pull that out so that we can go into the reset. So the things that we are going to be evaluating as part of this reset is we're going to be evaluating, and again, I said life is what's happening in your life is the majority of what's happening. Your business is a subset of that. Okay. So, you got your spiritual life. Maybe you have some things that happen in 2024 that you want to reset for 2025, or you want to do something different for 2025. What's happening in your personal life or your relationships, your family, your household, your fitness, your health, your financial, your money, and then your business. Again, business can intertwine in some of the financials. Business can intertwine in some of the family and household, because again, like for me, running a candy vending business, that means my son is going to be running, which is going to have an impact on our household and, my family and the business. So there's an intertwining going on. They're not running in silos. Typically, they're running parallel or intertwining with each other at all times. So looking at each one of these, your notebook, you're going to start with a page about your personal life. And let's talk about what worked in 2025 when it came to your spiritual life, your personal life, your family and household, your fitness and health, your financials. What were your goals for 2024? And did you even meet any of those goals for 2024 around those things? If you had a goal to lose 20 pounds, were you able to lose 20 pounds and keep it off in 2024? If you had a goal to set up your emergency fund for yourself, did you do that? If you had a goal to make a certain amount in your business, whatever business it is, did you meet those goals? So in your assessment of the personal things that happen in your life, whether it be your personal and your relationships, your family and household, your financial and money, your health and wellness and fitness, how did things go? What do you want to change? What do you want to stop doing? What do you want to start doing? What made you happy about 2024? When you look back on 2024, what made you happy? What did you enjoy doing? What would you continue doing in 2025? If e-commerce, okay, let me just tell you, e-commerce has been painful. Oh my gosh, it has been so painful the last year because of all of the changes. That Amazon is the biggest one. People have PTSD behind Amazon, but outside of Amazon, like when it comes to your e-commerce business, are there things that made you happy? So, and are you still in the business because there are things that make you happy, or are you just doing it just as a means to an end? So when I look at that kind of stuff, like, am I just doing this as a means to an end? Or am I doing this because I actually enjoy this? Because if I don't enjoy it, you should stop doing things that you don't enjoy. Because remember, like I said before, life is too short. We should stop doing stuff that aggravates us, brings us pain, whatever. I will tell you, as part of a business owner, there's going to always be things that bring you pain as a business owner. But overall, do I get overall joy when my customers get what they want? Whether it is a customer that I'm working on a website for, or a customer that I am doing email swipe or doing video edits or whatever it happens to be, or whether it is something that I sold and somebody bought something and I'm extremely happy because I sold a big ticket item. It brings me joy. The work to get it done, that may not bring me as much joy, but the reward on the other side, I enjoy that a lot. So, are there things that you feel like in 2025 went well? Are there relationships you were able to mend in 2025? Or maybe you didn't have that on your list of things to do. If you don't have 2024, if you don't have your 2024, like these were my goals for 2024, then pull out your 2024 goals and just see, did I meet any of these goals that I set for myself? And if you didn't set any goals, then okay, fine, you're starting with a clean slate. But if you didn't meet the goals, is there a reason why you didn't meet them? Did something happen? Did you get derailed? Because the one thing that happens for all of us at the beginning of the year, like we start off strong. We're really strong. And if we're going to lose weight, we're going to eat better, we're going to drink more water, we're going to get to the doctor, we're going to, stay in contact with our sister, we're going to be nicer to our next door neighbor. We start off strong January, and we start to fade towards the end of January. And then by February, we're like, okay, I got to think about it, and I do it randomly, and I'm inconsistent. And then by March, we've completely fallen off. So I'm just saying, and then the perfect example of this is the gym. Like, if you are that person, and there's a lot of us that do it, you sign up for a membership at the beginning of the year, and you start going to the gym, and you're really strong in those first couple of weeks. The people who are regulars, who go all the time, they'll say, yep, it's packed in the gym in January, and it's packed in the gym a little bit in February. By March, we've weeded out all the people who don't have, they are inconsistent and can't stick it out. So again, go back and look at your life for 2024. What were the things that you feel like went well? What are the things you feel like didn't go well? And then look at your business. Did you have some goals, some milestones that you set for yourself? And did you meet those milestones? Did you have a first quarter goal, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter? Did you have some accomplishments that you wanted to have done? Like something simple, like for us for 2024, one of the biggest things that we were doing, we were transitioning off of ClickFunnels, which is some software. We left ClickFunnels. We moved to a completely different tool. We transitioned off of ClickFunnels email to our own email tool. That transition has been extremely painful, but now we have stabilized it. We set up a bunch of automation. So we did accomplish what I said we're going to do. And we created a new membership site. Now, do we have some hiccups still? We're still flushing out a couple of things. But for the most part, everything is about 85% stabilized. So we got a little 15% we're going to work on in January. So we're 100% there. So our customer service stats will improve because of the fact that we've worked out the little hidden glitches here and there. Like I said, 85% of it is up and running. Videos are there. People can sign up, all of that stuff. But that was one of my biggest things. Got to get off of ClickFunnels, got to set up a new membership site. And we didn't just set up one membership site. We had to set up 4 different membership sites. We had to have one for eCom Sellers Academy, eCom Sellers Mastery, eCom Sellers Summit, eCom Q4 Summit. We also had to do the Side Hustle Summit. All of those are separate membership sites. And in addition to that, we had to set up the new membership site for eCom Sellers Mastermind. So 6 membership sites in one tool. It's pretty cool. And we accomplished that. We got it done. We still have some glitches here and there, but for the most part, it's done. Did you have any setbacks in your business? So I did have some setbacks during this year-long journey of dealing with different things. I personally had to go through and I kind of sacrificed a little bit of my business to care for a friend of mine. Again, like I said, I lost 2 important people. And one of them, I spent a significant amount of time just checking on her and taking care of her as needed, and making sure that she got what she needed and where she needed to go and what meds she needed. And so again, kind of cut into my business, cut into my profits. And so now I had some setbacks in 2024 while I was working through that. So financially, I took a hit, but I'm working on the other side of that. And it's okay, because I can never get back that time if I had lost it, because people are more valuable and more important than money. Facts. And then what were your personal accomplishments? Did you have anything that was personal that you wanted to get done yourself? I mentioned before, like weight loss. Maybe that's not your thing. For some people, maybe you wanted to get married. I have no idea. Everyone has a list. And if they don't have it written down, they've got it in their brain. So what were some of the things you really wanted to accomplish in 2024 and you didn't get to it? Those are the things that we want to write down right now, because that is what is defined as okay, we're doing an assessment. Okay. And there may be some lessons learned in that assessment of just doing a brain dump of that information. So make sure you've written down that stuff so that we can go back and see what we want to do differently for 2025. So again, going through the year and checklist, did you get all your taxes done? Are there subscriptions that you have that you need to either cancel or that you want to keep into 2025? Insurance, did you set up your business insurance? Are you carrying it forward into 2025? Or maybe there's something else, bank accounts, emergency funds, all of these things. Some of this is personal, some of it is business. Again, everything intertwines or they run parallel to each other when it comes to running a business. What do you want to how did it go for 2024? And are you ready for taxes for 2024? And now we'll take the opportunity to think about what do we want to change for 2025. Okay. So now that we've kind of done a brain dump of several things, I talked about a lot of stuff, and you're going to go in, you're going to fill in this notebook, you're going to write down some things about 2024 when it comes to your life. What happened? What were the things that your goals? What goals did you meet? What did you not meet? What accomplishments did you have? Now we're going to talk about your mindset, because sometimes going into 2025, we need to, like I said, we're going to leave our luggage in 2024. If we are carrying forward any hurt, any pain, any frustrations, any anger, we want to give 2025 a chance. 2025 may disappoint us on day one. Okay, facts. It may just bust us in the stomach on day one. Or it could surprise the snot out of us. We could have a wonderful 2025. We don't know. We don't have a crystal ball. But your mindset and your ability to go, okay, I'm going to shake off 2024 so I can get ready for 2025. Your mindset doesn't matter. Absolutely. Because there's always going to be stuff that you're thinking about. There's stuff that may keep you up at night that doesn't allow you to sleep. There's stuff that you worry about. There's stuff that you're frustrated about. Maybe there's stuff that you're procrastinating about. And the things that you can control, only you can control. The things you can't control, you're going to have to let it go. I feel like your mantra for 2025 might have to be shake it off. And I'm not saying that because I'm a Taylor Swift fan, because I'm not necessarily a fan. I'm just saying sometimes we just got to let some stuff go. We gotta change direction and stop doing the things that haven't gotten us as far as we want to go. If you keep doing the same things over and over again, you're going to keep getting the same results over and over again. So if you want to get different results in 2025, you have to think differently. You have to do things differently. And the only way you can do that is you have to be aware of what you're doing that got you where you are right now, so that you can do something completely different, so you can go in a different direction in 2025. And maybe you only need to change 25% of what you're doing. Maybe you need to change 50%. Maybe you just need to change 10%. If you feel like you're headed down the path that you want to be in the future, fantastic. But if you're not, and you're frustrated and you're like, you know what? I'm over 50. I'm tired of not having any money. I'm tired of not whatever it happens to be. I got to do something different. I don't want to do this anymore. This is too hard. I don't want to work this hard. I got to figure out something. Then your mindset is going to matter. And the way you think, the way you see things, the way you process things are going to matter. And you have to be aware of that. Okay. You need to be aware that you have to make some adjustments. You have to make some adjustments. So when it comes to your life, okay, as an entrepreneur in the beginning, and we are not in the beginning for a lot of us, but at the beginning as an entrepreneur, you know that you're in business for yourself. You own the business. You run the business. You make all the decisions. You keep track of whatever you're supposed to keep track of because you're the boss, and you embrace the fact that you're the boss. I'm going into this business. I'm doing this. Same thing you run in your own household. When it comes to your household, whether you have pets, whether you have kids, whether you have a spouse, whether you're an empty nester, again, you're running the show. It's your house. It's your stuff, hopefully, to some extent. Okay. If you have a partnership, you got to work together. And so at the beginning, everything is great. It is wonderful. And as you continue down this path, you start to realize, oh, I got to do some of this stuff myself. So when you, as a person, when I was younger, when I first moved out of my mom's house, I had to pay the bills. I had to cook for myself. I had to make sure I paid the electric bill, the water bill, the trash, the rent. These are all things I had to learn. So I was responsible for me. I was responsible for all these things. And for some people, that reality of having to do this on their own, maybe you've been that person that was lucky enough to have an amazing partner. One of my closest friends lost her husband about a month ago, and she is just completely devastated. And I completely understand that. And I've just been praying for her and reaching out to her and trying to do everything I can to help support her on this journey. This is foreign territory for her. So she's going to have a completely different 2025 than she thought she was going to have. And again, the surprise of it all, he had a surprise heart attack. Like, they completely caught everybody off guard. But doing things initially, when you're first doing it by yourself, yeah, it's fun initially. Like the first time I was paying my own bills, I felt really proud of myself. Oh, I'm doing great. Da, 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 da. And then after a while, it's like, oh my God, it is hard to pay the water bill and the electric bill and the gas. I need groceries. Okay, we don't have any money for groceries because we had to get new tires on the car. So adulting is not easy. Same thing with running a business. When you first start it, it's great. It's wonderful. And at some point, the reality of I am the boss of everything, it matters whether it's on me if emails don't go out. It's on me if the membership site doesn't come up. It's on me if all these things don't happen. Okay. And so the real world sort of sets in everything, whether I'm a person who just graduated from high school and going out on my own for the first time, the real world will stress you out. Trust me, I know this. I'm reminded of this with my son all day long because he has massive anxiety. The stress of life, the stress of adulting, the anxiety of life, all of that stuff. And for me, running a business, I take all the blame. When people can't get into the membership site, they are mad, they're frustrated with me, and they want refunds, and all of the stuff happens. And so I work through all of the challenges, but being an entrepreneur is not for the weak. It is not. And adulting is not for the weak. Facts. It is not for the weak. So again, our mindset and how we handle these things and how we work through them and how we overcome the challenges and how we get on the other side of success of this, we got to go through the weeds. We got to go through the minefield. We got to go through the darkness to get to the other side of this. And so you have to be strong enough to be able to handle that. And your mindset is what controls that. How you handle it, how you process it, how you work through it in the midst of the stress. How do I deal with it? Okay. So again, the life of an entrepreneur is not for the weak, just like adulting is not for the weak. You get frustrated, you make some progress, you get a setback. Sometimes things work, sometimes things don't work. Sometimes things go left. And sometimes, everything is perfect and they work great for a while. So you have to be prepared for the ups and downs of this crazy journey. Being an entrepreneur is just like being an adult. It is. There's always good days and there's bad days. There's good moments and there's bad moments. And what I try to remind my son all the time is this is just a moment. This is just right now. This doesn't mean that it's forever. It's just this moment. So this moment will pass. I'll check back in with you in about 4 hours. It'll be okay. I need you to relax. And so for us, again, when we're not able to pay the bills because we're not making enough money as an entrepreneur, yeah, it's tough. It's hard. Trust me. I've been there a lot. But the great thing is that when you do get on the other side of it, you do have amazing experiences. I have customers who send me great emails. Thank you for what you did. I love my website. Thank you for setting up that automation. That was really cool. Thank you for teaching me blah, 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 whatever it happens to be. And so again, even though it's a tough journey at times, I still like the reward on the other side. And for me, it also, like for our nonprofit, when I see the parents that bring their kids to our events, or the parents who get information, or the parents that were struggling because they didn't have, access to resources, and now they have a sheet of information that has a bunch of resources that they can go and take advantage of. It's like, thank you so much. Sometimes you just need somebody to just relieve some of the pressure and the pressure valve, to take some of the weight off of you for just a second. Or sometimes you have to take the weight off yourself and put it down and not deal with it at this very moment and come back and pick it up later. And that is your mindset, your ability to be able to do that, to work through those challenges. And so I just want to encourage you as an entrepreneur, the thing that keeps me going outside of the reward from working with families and helping families and, helping people with training or whatever services we're offering. And also, my own kids. I'm reminded why I do what I do, besides needing to keep the lights on and keep water coming out of my faucet and keeping shelter over my head. My why. My boys are my why. I do everything for my boys because I remind them, and I don't remind them, but I say it often in my head that I'm not going to be here forever. Life is short. And I have to teach them as many skills as possible. I have to help them. I have to set up as much as possible so that when I leave this earth, they have something that will help them to have access to some form of income. If they're not getting any state assistance, because I'm in Texas. Texas is like ranked 49th in the US of states that have the worst services for disability. But anyway, so we don't get a lot of services here in the state of Texas because Texas just sucks in any case when it comes to disability services. So my goal is to remember that I'm not going to be here one day, and I need to have done enough to where they can care for themselves, take care of themselves, support each other, and that they have enough money to be able to live. They have a roof over their head. They have water that comes out of the faucet because mommy paid off the house. So now the house is in a trust and they will have enough to be able to take care of themselves. So again, planning, going through that process of putting together a game plan. What I want to whittle away so it doesn't, if I don't make it tomorrow, have I done enough to make sure my boys are taken care of? That is always in the back of my mind, always. So what is your why? Your why can't just be money. It has to be stronger than money, okay? Because if your why was just money, all those people who win the lottery and then they blow it, okay? So now what? Now what? It is about a legacy. It is about something greater than us. It is about something greater than where we are and what we do. What is your why? Maybe your why is your family. Maybe your why is something else. What is it that's going to keep you focused on whatever your game plan is for your personal life and also your business life? What keeps you motivated? Okay. In the midst of, this is annoying, I don't want to do this anymore, this is very frustrating, or I don't like it today. Because I'm just going to tell you, as an entrepreneur, I don't always like everything I have to do every single day. I do like the reward on the other side, but I don't always like everything I have to do every single day. Like there's some things that I enjoy in the day and I do those first, which is wrong. You should do the tough stuff first, just so you know. But and then there's stuff that I do and I enjoy it. Like I'd rather do this instead of doing the easy stuff that I know I can do really fast. But what's your why? Why, why do you feel like you need to put together a plan for 2025? Do you feel like you've wasted your time? Did you feel like you wasted 2025 or 2024, 2023, 2022? Do you feel like you just wasted a lot of time? Are you now coming out of the fog? For some people, 2020 and 2021 and part of 2022 was just a lot. And so they started coming out of the fog in 2023 or in 2024 because those 3 years were just so overwhelming that it took them a while to come out of the fog. And if that's the case, if you're ready to get going because you feel like you were walking around in a fog for the last 3 years or the previous 4 years, that's okay too. But what is your why? At the end of the day, outside of just making money in your business, what's your why? So as I said before, your why has to be bigger than you. You need to peel the onion on what your motivation is, because at the end of the day, who do you want to be, do, or have? who must I be? I, Nicole, who must I be? I need to be a person who is thinking beyond just myself and thinking beyond the money. I want to be a change maker. I want to be a catalyst in the special needs space to help other families that are on this journey, because it's a tough journey to be on. And I don't want them to be lost in the wilderness, because I was lost in the wilderness and I didn't have anybody to help me. So what must I do to be able to help these people? Well, I got to get my crap together. I got to make sure I've got my game plan together for my boys as much as I can. Can't control everything. God loves it when we make plans sometimes, because he loves to laugh, because sometimes our plan is not his plan. Just so you know, our plan is not his plan. Just remember I said that. Our plan is not his plan. So you got to pray, make sure that you're following his plan, and hopefully your plan and his plan align. If they do, that's wonderful. But if they don't, you will definitely be corrected along the way, and things will not be what you think they should be. So what must I do to be that person? I got to make sure my game plan is in place. And I also need to make certain decisions in order for me to do that. If I want to create a tiny house community where special needs kids and adults can live, or special needs adults can live independently, then, I've got to make sure I have enough money to or get grant money to get some land. I've got to make sure that I've got builders to be able to do that. There's a lot of stuff I have to do. I have to make sure my nonprofit is strong enough to be able to do that kind of work. I have to get the word out. So I've got to do action related work in my personal life and in our nonprofit. And I also in my business, because really at the end of the day, if you talk to my business partner, I got into this e-commerce space because I was teaching a young man who had Asperger's how to create listings with me. I taught him how to create listings on Amazon. I taught him how to create variation listings. I taught him how to do keyword research and titles. I taught him how to edit images. And I'm like, if there were more people like him that can be taught how to do these things, they can make money for themselves, because the special needs community is the most underemployed community or unemployed community. And most people don't know that. Over 92% of people with disabilities are unemployed or underemployed. And that is intellectual disabilities, physical disabilities. And let me get off my rant. But in any case, so in order for me to get to the special needs community, there's a bunch of stuff that I have to be a different person. I have to be the person that works for the nonprofit or helps the nonprofit get things done. I have to be the person that is committed to that journey. I have to be different. There's things I have to move differently. And once I do all of those things, so that I can leave this legacy of a community where people can thrive as adults living on their own. It's a lot. So e-commerce is just a means to an end to help me to get there. It's a means to allow me to be able to keep my lights on and keep water coming out of the faucet. And it is a means to be able to help others and bless others. So I just want you to think about your why. And is your why just 100% money motivated? And sometimes maybe it is. Maybe you've been struggling for so long that you're like, look, I can't even buy a potato. If I could buy a potato right now, that would be great. So I get it, because I've been there. I've gone without food for me and my boys. I have. It is not pretty and it is not fun. So maybe that's where you start, but that is not the end of your story. Just so you know, it's not. God always has better plans for us. So here's my guys. This is when they were little. They were so little. They have gotten much bigger. I don't even have the latest pictures for them. I think there's a picture on my Facebook page that has us. But anyway, this is us on this journey. And then this is the nonprofit, me and the president. This is the president. And there's me, the vice president. But yeah, again, been on this journey for a long time. They're my why. So your mindset, the definition of your mindset. Mindset is a person's way of thinking and their opinions. How you think about yourself, how you think about your business, how you think about your situation, your opinion about it. Sometimes we can have super duper negative opinions about stuff, and we have to work to find the positive, or we have to work to turn that around. Your mindset is also this is the definition, so now, a habitual and characteristic mental attitude that determines how you will interpret and respond to situations. Again, when stuff happens, dealing with the website not working, or dealing with the membership site not being 100%, or whatever, the email autoresponder is not working. Again, how do I respond to that? I'm not going to let that take me all the way down the rabbit hole. I'm going to go, okay, I'm going to recognize it, acknowledge it, and I'm going to move forward, because that's the way my mindset works. So Mahatma Gandhi says, your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values become your destiny. And I believe that. I believe it. Whatever your values are, they ultimately become your destiny. So with that being said, like, I want you to think about, do you feel like for 2025, I need to change some things about the way that I think? Maybe I do have a lot going on and I become overwhelmed and I just become paralyzed and I don't take any action. And maybe I need to do a few things differently in order for me to be able to move and keep taking action in my life or in my business. Okay. So a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. I feel strongly that I sit in the growth mindset, because again, I'm always looking for opportunity. That's usually why we started with 2024. What happened in 2024 in your life and in your business? Why do you think those things happened? So then that way, as you build your game plan for 2025, you cannot replicate. If we don't want to replicate what happened in 2024, let's not replicate it. Let's do something different. Whereas a fixed mindset is, things are happening to me. Okay. You have a limited, like, my potential is predetermined. I can only do so much. My abilities are unchanging. I can't grow. I don't like being challenged. Okay. Some people don't like being challenged, and it's okay. I'm stuck. I stick to what I know, and I don't go outside my comfort zone. I'm always outside my comfort zone. My son thinks it's weird. I understand. But it was like, I've always talked to people. I've always interacted with people. I always step outside my car. I would do stuff that I've never done before, or I do stuff that I don't like doing, so that I can move past it, because I know that there's something else that needs to happen on the other side of this. I also am very spirit led. If I am called to do something because God told me to do it, I have learned enough and hit my head up against the wall enough to know I need to do whatever it is that God's told me to do, and to stop messing around. Because if I don't, it's going to come back around to me. Okay. So your why and your mindset determine a lot of things. Your endurance, your personal endurance, how you're going to handle things, how you can deal with things. And it will also determine your entrepreneurial endurance. Sometimes we get a really good running start on our endurance, and then we just feel like we get beat down by life, and it makes it hard. So again, working on that mindset is going to help us turn things around. So here are some things when it comes to entrepreneurial endurance. You need to have all of these skills and then some. These are things that you need to work on and develop, and to continue to remind yourself that, okay, and these are some of the same skills and abilities you need to have in your personal life to be able just to deal with day to day. Feels like these days, day to day is so much heavier and so much rougher than it was before. I do feel that, but I try not to take on that weight. I really do. So if you're struggling with just working through making adjustments to your mindset, I do want to encourage you to do a couple of things. One, there's so many amazing apps out here that will help you to work through things. There's a lot of apps. I know people have talked about BetterHelp. I'm not here to promote BetterHelp. I'm just saying I did sign my son up for it. We did it for about 3 years before it became a thing. It was called BetterHelp has an arm that's called Team Counseling. And so he did that during the COVID timeframe. So we're very familiar with BetterHelp and their platform. Sometimes talking to somebody can help. In addition to that, maybe meeting with some focus or speaking with some groups that give you the opportunity to talk about your entrepreneur journey. Go to some meetups so you can network with some other people that maybe have a little bit more positive energy, and that you can I won't say draw from like a vampire, but but you can, it can help uplift you so you don't feel like you're alone. For some people, they don't like being an entrepreneur because you feel like you're always doing stuff alone and you're always doing stuff in the silo. And I get that. And in 2025, the Lord says the same. My goal is to actually have us all get together for those who want to get together, because sometimes we do need to be around each other. That was the thing we used to do back in the day, and we need to get back to that. But there's also some amazing books that I would encourage you to read. And if you're not a reader, get the audio book. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not a reader. I don't have time. But I have a bunch of stuff on Kindle and that I can listen to, and the audiobooks, and then I have stuff on Audible. So you can go through and, speech to text all day long, because Google speech to text is free. It'll read it to you. There's other things like Speechify, whatever. You can go through it that way, or you can do Audible and listen to some of these things, maybe on your drive to work, on your drive home, maybe just before you go to bed, to just kind of help you with your mindset every single day. But there's some amazing apps out there. My son struggles with anxiety and stress and his inability to cope with those things. And so we have a couple of different tools in our arsenal. I did get him Pulsetto, which is a thing that's supposed to help the vagus nerve. Again, I'm not promoting these. I'm just telling you what I'm doing to help him on his adulting journey. We got Mindy, which is a headband that helps with the frontal lobe, helps with focus, concentration, executive functioning, executive planning. And then we also have Focus Calm. And those are all tools that I've given him to be able to help him to self-regulate and work through breathing techniques. And that way you can focus and visualize your future instead of what's happening to you right now, if you are at that extreme. If you're not at that extreme and you're great, that's fantastic. Some of these books will be a blessing to you on your e-commerce journey and can help you with your day-to-day decisions. In addition to that, I have mentioned this over the years. There's 3 different things that I recommend. One, every year, once a year, you should take the DISC personality test. The DISC personality test, DISC is dominance, influence, steadiness, and conscientiousness. In most cases, these are tests that are given to you if you work for a corporate entity. Okay. And so if you want to take the DISC assessment, I have a link. You can go to bit.ly/inspire with capital I, and then DISC, capital D, lowercase I, S, C, capital S, capital C. It does matter if you use the capitals in the lowercase. So I'm going to say it one more time. bit.ly // capital I, lowercase n, S, P, I, R, E, uppercase D, lowercase I, uppercase S, uppercase C. You can do a DISC assessment and give you some insights into you and your personality and maybe some of your strengths and your weaknesses. Okay. And the reason why that matters is because sometimes the things, when we do assessments on ourselves, it'll help give us some insight into why we make some of the decisions we make, either in our personal lives or in our business lives. So I encourage you to do that. There's also the Clifton Strengths Assessment. I think this thing got renamed, so I need to go look it up again. So it's no longer called Clifton Strengths, because, companies buy other companies who buy other companies who buy other companies. Okay. But at the time, it used to be called Clifton Strengths. If it hasn't changed, that's fantastic. But they have an assessment as well that you can do the free assessment to figure out what your strengths are. I think they give you your top 10 strengths initially, what you're really good at. So okay, maybe play to your strengths in 2025. If you play to your strengths in 2025, maybe that will help you to feel like you're making progress and you have forward momentum in anything that you're wanting to do. So you can go to bit.ly / inspire, capital I, lowercase n, S-P-I-R-E, uppercase S, then lowercase T-R-E-N-G-H-S. Again, bit.ly / inspire, capital I, strengths, capital S, all one word. And if you do that, you can do those assessments right now. It's your opportunity to be able to take those and to learn a little bit about yourself. The last thing that I recommend is that everyone should every year do a vision board. There's so many different ways in which you can do it. You can do it on Canva if you want to. This is just something that maybe you can stick either on your phone. Some people put their vision boards on their phone. So it's their phone, the image that's, uh, the background image on their phone, so they can see it at all times. Some people make it a little post-it and they stick it on their car. So when they're driving, it's like visually somewhere in their view. Some people put it up in the on their mirror in their bathroom, or they put it on a wall when they first wake up and they can see it. Your vision board, again, what you think about, your thoughts matter, and your thoughts can help bring into existence your reality of where you want to go in your life and in your business. And sometimes your vision board is something that is a long-term goal. If you were looking to buy a 5,000 square foot house, maybe you could buy it this year. Buy it in 2025. Maybe it is not going to happen in 2025. I don't know. But having long range goals, short range goals, what are the things that you want to do differently? How do you want to think differently? How do you want to move differently in 2025? Those are the three things that I definitely recommend that you do. If you do the DISC personality, this is, they're going to talk about the D is the dominance or driven results. I is your influence or social networker. S is your steadiness, your consistency, and C is your conscientiousness. Okay. And so I already know what I am. We don't need to talk about that. But again, it gives you some insight into you and maybe why you make some of the decisions you make. And also, if you're a person that struggles with building relationships with others, it can also give you some insight into that as well. And then this is what the Clifton Strengths results looks like. I think this is the paid version, meaning I have the paid version. And this is from a few years ago. But anyway, I don't know if this is mine or my business partners. I can't remember whose picture shot this is, or it could be one of my students. But in any case, this is the Clifton Strengths, and I need to probably take a new picture of this. But it gives you some insight on what your strengths are, and then maybe you can play to those strengths in 2025. Sometimes these strengths can help you in figuring out, like, I love to create bundles. That's my thing. And I love to find bundle opportunities to make a lot of money, to increase my ROI in my e-commerce business. And so I do have a creative edge, and to be able to see how people can use stuff, I can visualize things really, really well. And that was one of my strengths. And I didn't know that at the time. But again, when I took the test, it's like, okay, well, that makes sense. That makes sense. So if that's a strength of mine, keep doing more of that. Okay. And then your vision board, why you should make a vision board. Some people, this thing about manifesting has been a big thing for the last 2 years. So whether you make a vision board or you manifest whatever it is you want to happen in your life, either one. But a vision board, as Oprah would say, a vision board absolutely does work. You have to have a vision and a plan to execute on, so that every step moves you in that vision. Steve Harvey says, man, if I didn't have a vision board, I would be in trouble. He has a great story about his journey. And, he talks about carrying the rocks. And sometimes you need people to help you get over the hill. And if everybody's putting rocks back in your tub and you're trying to go up a hill, that's the hardest thing in the world to do. So maybe 2025 is your year of letting some people go, or some people who have tough mindsets, see them a little bit less. That might be the thing. And then John Ashroff, he says, look at the images on your vision board over and over. Repetitiveness of vision combined with your associated emotions will develop your power to visualize and take action to achieve your goals. So again, visualizing what you want to do. So what's your vision for 2025? What are the things that you want to do? These are things that you should definitely consider putting on your vision board. And then once you get a vision board, like I said, you can use poster board, you can use Canva and do it on your screen. You can have it as your screensaver. You can have it as your phone background saver. But it's a visual representation of what you envision for your life. And maybe you just have a 2025 vision board, and maybe you have a 10-year out, 2035 vision board, so that you can say, this is where I want to go over the next 10 years. Okay. So it allows you to define and to clarify your aspirations, reinforce them, and keep your intentions focused. So that combined with your game plan every single day. I'm planning for this. You're taking action towards whatever is on your vision board. You're taking action every day towards your game plan. There should be a connection to your vision board and your game plan for 2025. So when it comes to business habits, we talked about some of the endurance some of the endurance habits that you need to develop, those skills, those traits, those characteristics. So here's some additional characteristics. If in 2025, running your own business and or improving how you're running your business, these are some things you need to think about. You've got to start being intentional. If you have not been, and you did your assessment for 2024, if you were not intentional about how you spent your time, how you spent your money, and how you spent your resources, you've got to change that for 2025. Be intentional about how you spend your time, your money, your resources. Be a student. If you were not a person who learned new stuff in 2024, then you need to be intentional about learning something new in 2025. Trust me, with AI, there's so many things that they've rolled out. Being intentional is a big deal. If you didn't build a schedule, maybe you started off strong in 2024 and you fell off. You had a schedule and then the schedule went to crap. Okay, that happens. Maybe be intentional about 2025 and building a schedule that you can stick with. If you were not committed in 2024, or maybe you need to be more committed than you are right now to whatever it is, your vision, your goal for your future, whether it's personal or business. You need to be consistent. If you want consistent in 2024 about anything, whether it's your personal life or your business, you need to make that a thing that you do in 2025 or you aspire to do in 2025. Same thing with focus and getting organized. Sometimes organization, it just gets the better of us. If you looked at my house right now, you'd be like, oh my God, my house is just a mess right now. But in 2025, it will not be a mess. I know why it's a mess right now, because I'm trying to move my son's stuff out of my room and everything is everywhere. But in any case, so what can make you successful? Your mindset. We talked about mindset for sure. Your habits. We talked about some of the habits and the skills you need to develop. And so that is extremely important. I gave you some suggestions for books to work on your mindset and being consistent and working on your mindset, being consistent and executing those things that you want to do that become habits. Those are things that are extremely important. If you don't have our 2025 eCom planner, it has been out. It's been out since August, but we didn't market it. We didn't promote it because we didn't have our membership site. We didn't have a lot of stuff up. So anyway, I just want you to know that the 2025 planner is out there. If you're wanting to transform your business and achieve your goals in 2025, it's out there. So let's go into focus because it's about to go down. 2025. So we went through reset. We talked about our mindset. We talked about our thoughts. We talked about what happened in 2025. Now we're going to talk about refocus, prioritizing. So we are reassessed. We understand that our mindset matters. How we see ourselves, how we see our business, how we think about things, all that stuff matters. At the end of the day, you are the boss. You need to embrace it. Good, bad, or indifferent. You have to embrace it. So time to build the habits of consistency. Okay. So the biggest challenge that we all have is something happens and we get distracted. This is that time of year where a whole bunch of stuff is going to be introduced to you. And you're going to think it's just a coincidence, and it's not. Let me just tell you, I'm going to remind you right now. Beginning of November until Valentine's Day, and I said this to my brother downstairs about 3 hours ago. Everything that you see, everything that you hear, every email that you receive is not by accident. There are more new programs rolled out at the end of the year and the beginning of the new year. There's more MLM opportunities and network marketing opportunities and product whatever opportunities and this, that, and the other. It's like, oh, okay. I signed up for more network marketing companies and more MLMs in my entire life at the beginning of every single freaking year. Whether it was November, it's like, oh, we just want to invite you to this meeting. You should come to this meeting. We're going to be talking about this new patch. We're going to be talking about this tea. We're going to be talking about whatever it happens to be, this new phone service, whatever it happens to be. I hook, line, and sinker November, December, January, and February. Okay. I'm not here to sell you anything November, December, January, and February. Not the way opportunities present themselves. So just don't be surprised that there's going to be a bunch of stuff that's going to be rolling through your email inbox. Somebody's going to invite you to something and they're going to say, hey, I don't want to talk to you about the phone. I really want you to hear it from them. If you could just jump on this Zoom link and you can hear it for yourself. If you can jump on this conference call number, I've heard them all. Like, There's nothing that you can convince me of. Okay. People have been trying to get me in more programs. I've been in, I think, 12 different network marketing companies over 20 years, and I'm done. Done. Been done since 2014. Done. So you have to focus because there's going to be a lot of distractions. There's going to be a lot of people trying to get you into stuff. There's going to be a lot of people trying to get you to do something different. Now, if you have determined that e-commerce is not for you, fine, go do something else. Do what you love. Life is too short for you to do things you hate. Okay. If you don't like e-commerce, don't do it. Do something else. If you like, and maybe you like print on demand, maybe you like creating ebooks, maybe you like drop shipping, maybe you like, I don't know, maybe you like making stuff, maybe you are a knitter and you like knitting sweaters and hats. Whatever your passion is, I want to encourage you to pursue it in 2025, whatever you like, because life is entirely too short. Okay. But just know that there's going to be a lot of distractions coming your way. We're going to all hear on the internet about some major whatever that's this company and they're amazing, blah, blah, blah. I remember when school last year did this same crap and they were like, oh, everybody needs a membership site. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's a lot of money, people. Don't get caught up. Just don't. Okay. So we're going to talk about refocus. Get your notebook and pen if you don't have it. So dream versus reality. And we're going to be wrapping up here in a second because we're going to continue to build the plan tomorrow. We're going to take all the stuff we wrote down. We're going to build a plan. Okay. So there's a dream of what we think we're doing in our business and the reality of what we really are doing in our business. There's the dream of what we think we're doing in our life. I'll do a pretty good job of that. And then there's the reality of, well, you know what? If we were tracking it, I really am not doing that, whatever that is. So I will use me as an example. The dream is I walk 15 minutes every single day, or I walk 30 minutes every single day. The reality is I don't think I have walked since I feel like beginning of November. But in my mind, I'm always like, okay, well, I'm going to get out and I'm going to go outside. And then something happens and I don't go outside and walk. So I have done a lot of walking, but just to walk and not be going somewhere else, like, okay, I got to go to the grocery store. I got to go here. No, just to go outside, get some fresh air, have the wind blow on my face, have the sun shine on me, just walk and not do something else. Yeah. So I haven't done that. The reality, the dream is I'm walking all the time. The reality is I am not being intentional about going outside and getting some physical exercise and getting some fresh air. That's the reality. The dream is I'm listing every single day. The reality is the last time I listed, being honest, my VA does all my listings, okay? So the last time I physically listed something myself was probably the end of November. I haven't created a listing since the end of November. Okay, it's the end of December right now. Because again, I have a VA who does the listings for me. I taught her how to do it, blah, blah, blah. But again, dream versus reality. So if you're a person who says, I want to make sure I create 5 listings every single day, the only way you're going to be able to know whether or not you're really doing that is that you're tracking it. Okay, tracking whether or not you're doing the thing that you said you want to do. So how aware are you of the things that you do that you're saying that you want to do that will improve your life? I know that going for a walk will help my health. I know that going for a walk will help my lungs. I know that going for a walk will help some of the weight that's on my hips. Okay, I have a tear in my hip. They want me to have hip replacement surgery. I don't want to have it, but okay. So we are where we are. I'm not doing the things that I know that will actually impact and improve my life. So I'm making either a decision or I'm just being lazy, I'm procrastinating, whatever you want to call it. So that's the stuff we have to change. Best way to sort of change that outside of mindset or in addition to mindset is tracking it. Okay. Tracking it will remind you where you are in the process of what you're trying to change or improve. So how aware are you? What are the things that you're doing that you feel like you need to stop doing? What's in your way of helping you to grow your business or in your way of helping you to move forward on anything that you're trying to do in your own personal life? You have some things that are on your list that you probably had from 2024 that you're like, I don't want to do this stuff in 2025. What is that? What is distracting you? Are you that person that sits on your phone and you do doom scrolling, where you're just scrolling on TikTok and Instagram Reels and Facebook and whatever else? I took a Facebook hiatus, took a TikTok, YouTube shorts. I took all that hiatus. I literally have been pretty much 90% off of social media for since May. I had to take a hiatus. I did it for many different reasons. I couldn't maintain both. And I had to get stuff done. I had to take care of my friend. I had to take care of my boys. I just couldn't do both. I couldn't be on social media and do that too. Okay. So what are the things that you feel like that are stopping you from becoming the person that you want to be? What are the things that you're doing that are stopping you from becoming or doing the things that you know that will improve your life and make it better? Okay. Write it down. You don't have to tell me, just write it down. So how many hours a week have you committed to your business? Did you even commit any hours to your business? Did you say, you know what, at a minimum, I'm going to work 10 hours a week in my business, no matter what? No matter what. So have you been able to keep up with that? Or have you not made a commitment and you just say, I'm just going to work on my business? So you're random about it. So if you're random about it, you're going to get random results. When people say, I'm not making any money in this e-commerce business, I ask them all the time, let me see your schedule. And they go, well, I don't really have a schedule. Okay, well, that's the reason why you're getting the results you get. That's why you're not making any money, because you don't have a schedule. You have to be intentional. Being intentional is on the list of things that you have to do in order to make money in this thing. So you need to be intentional about what you spend your time doing. So you can decide, either I'm going to sit here and I'm going to doom scroll, or I'm actually going to create some listings. Either I'm going to doom scroll or I'm going to go source some product. I'm going to doom scroll, or I'm going to, let me just tell you, doom scrolling is the thing that's winning right now for most people. And then how many hours a day have you committed in your business? I said at the beginning, I'm working about 10 to 15 hours per week in my e-commerce business. Okay. I only work 4 days a week in the e-commerce beside the business because I'm running other businesses as well. So have you determined what your most productive time of the day is? For me, I know my most productive time of the day is first thing in the morning. I get up at 6 o'clock and I am taking phone calls. I'm working with VAs because my VAs are in India. I'm taking calls with them. I'm working with them on stuff that they need to deliver to my clients. And I'm working at 6 o'clock in the morning, going. I am burnt out by about 9 o'clock. I'm not worth two pennies. You could call me and I probably sound like a drunk person because I'm on my way out. I'm on my way to go to sleep. So what's your most productive time of the day? Or have you figured that out yet? You need to figure that out, because if you're going to run an e-commerce business, your goal is to work as many of those hours in that window, if it's possible. Sometimes your most productive time of the day is when you're at your job. And if that's the case, then you've got to find a second wind and figure out how you can pull together a second wind if you want to work in your business. Or maybe you're just a person who works in your e-commerce business just on Saturday and Sunday. That might be your thing. Because if you try and you struggle and you don't make any progress, I would tell you right now, I've said this many times over the years, if I work in my e-commerce business after 8 o'clock, I know that it is wasted time. I'm not going to get anything done between 8 and 10. I could sit there for 2 hours and it would take me 2 hours to do 4 listings. Now, if I were to work in my e-commerce business at 6 o'clock in the morning, in 2 hours, I probably have about 25 to 30 listings, if not more. So again, I know when my battery is completely drained. I don't do anything in my business or make any decisions when I know my battery is drained, because I know it will not be productive. It will just be a waste of time. It is time I can never get back, because again, life is too short. You can't get that time back. So if your battery is drained, then don't work during that time. Work at a time when you know you have the energy and the focus to be able to do the things you need to do. How many hours are you planning to work in your business? Have you thought about that? Again, write it down. And maybe how many hours are you planning on working on yourself, whatever it is you plan on doing for 2025. So I'm talking about income producing activity hours. So doing product research is fine, but it's only good if you do something with that research. If you're just doing product research after product research after product research after product research, and you spent 20 hours doing product research and you haven't listed one thing, that was wasted time. That was completely wasted time. It doesn't take you 20 hours to do product research. I can tell you that. I've been doing this too long. So again, what are you spending your time doing? If you're not working in your business, Where have you lost a lot of time? I will tell you, I feel like for the other people I've talked to in 2023 and 2024, I feel like social media has sucked the life out of a bunch of people. And I mean that just watching people like, oh, okay, well, I didn't get that done because I was scrolling. And then I got sucked into the vortex of scrolling. And then now it's 3 hours later, I'm coming up for air trying to figure out, oh my God, I didn't get anything done. If you have that problem, there are tools you can put on your phone. There's notifications. You can set alarms. I set alarms. You heard my alarms going off before. You can set alarms. You can install an app that kind of sort of blocks you out or tells you to take a break. You can set on timers. So then that way you can get out of that stuff so that you can actually do something that's productive, that's going to help you grow as a person or grow your business or improve your life. Because social media is not improving our lives. Sorry, it's not. It's not improving our lives. It's not. It is making us more distant. It is messing with our dopamine receptors. It is impacting our ability to focus and to concentrate. There's so many people that are struggling with focus and concentration right now. It is ridiculous. So it's not helping us. It's actually hurting us as humans. What is your budget for your business? Do you have a budget? And have you created your 2025 budget? If you haven't, I want to encourage you to sign up for our Monday class because I'm giving you a budget spreadsheet that already has formulas already in it. It's pretty cool. I love that spreadsheet. But what's your budget? Do you have a daily, weekly, monthly budget that you've established for your business? So like daily meaning you're sourcing inventory. Maybe you're spending $100 a day on inventory, just making up some numbers. And you're going to turn around and flip that $100 per day in inventory and turn it into 500, or you're going to turn it into 700 or whatever the number may be. So you have to buy inventory. So then what does that mean? How much you're going to spend every month? If you're spending $100 a day at the end of 30 days, it's $3,000. So again, what's your goal and expectation to get that money back? And how long is it going to take you to get that money back? Turn that around, to flip it. What are your sales and profit goals? Do you even know what your sales and profits are? If you don't right now know what they are, then that should be something you put on your goals for 2025 to actually start knowing what that is and checking it on a regular basis so you know whether or not you're profitable. Because if you're not making any money, this is just a habit. You can work in your e-commerce business over and over and over again, but if you're not making any money, this is just a habit, a very expensive time-sucking, time-wasting habit. Turn it into something. Let's turn it into something that makes you money. That's the goal. That should be the goal. How many listings are you creating per day and per week in your business? If you don't have any goals or measurements around that, you should establish some goals and measurements around that for 2025. And what are your goal hours in the budget and sales profit, for each platform? So your goal hour is maybe to work 10 hours a week on eBay, or 10 hours a week on Amazon, or 10 hours a week on Walmart. What is your goals? So there is your dream of what you think you're doing, and then there's the reality of what you're actually doing. So the goal is for you to sit down and actually write out what you're actually doing. It's time for us to get organized, get focused, get more intentional about how we spend our time, our money, and our resources. Let's get intentional about that. For 2025, I do want to encourage you, and I say this every year, I encourage people to put together a business plan, because you never know when you're either going to come up with a fantastic, amazing idea that you can turn into a profitable business, like something that I can present it to the SBA, Small Business Association, or I can apply for a grant and maybe get some money because I have this amazing, whatever it happens to be. True story. I want to say it was 10 years ago because it is 2024. It may have actually been before this. It may have been like 2010. I will never forget. I had this vision of making these Halloween baskets out of felt and cloth, and they were reusable and they were reversible. And I promise you, next year, I went into Sam's Club and somebody had taken my entire idea out of my brain and it was sitting on the shelf at Sam's Club. I was so mad at myself because I didn't take any action on that idea, that thought. I'm confident they made a boatload of money. Those things have stuck around for years. And every time I walk past one and I see one, I'm just like, ugh, you could have been a millionaire at this point. But again, I had the idea, didn't take action on it, didn't have a business plan, didn't have anything set up. I encourage you to put together, you're going to do this thing, put together a business plan, have a template already ready to go. There's tools out there. You have Chat GPT and you have Google Gemini. They will help you build this out so that you have something that you can slap into an online form or send or give to somebody, so that if you have an amazing idea, that somebody else does not become a millionaire off of your idea. You can get it patented, you can get it trademarked, you can get it whatever you need to do. Okay. So put together a business plan. A business plan normally has an executive summary, company description, market analysis, and competitive analysis. Some of that you may or may not have if it's a brand new idea. Management or organization, you may not have that yet, but it's a placeholder. Break down your products and services, whatever it is you're going to offer. I think this is great for people who want to do subscription services. If you're a bundle maker, you like to make bundles and you want to do a curated subscription service. The person who has one right now is Dallas, and she has put together a curated bundle that she sends out every month to people who like to journal. And it's beautiful, this business that she's created. It's work, but it's a rewarding work. So again, having a subscription service is not a bad idea. So maybe there's something you do. Me and my business partner, we actually already own a domain. We have an idea that we want to bring to the market for a subscription service. And I meant to do it right after COVID, and I didn't do it yet. So the goal is to execute it in 2025. The Lord say the same. So we'll see. In addition to that, what is your plan for 2025 when it comes to your business model? Are you going to stick with what you've been doing? And maybe you have been random about how you've been running your business. So now you're going to be intentional. So maybe the model that you've chosen will work. And if not, maybe you're going to switch it up. Maybe you've been doing retail arbitrage all these years and you want to transition to do wholesale, or maybe you want to do liquidation. Because we have a lot of amazing businesses that have gone out of business. 99-cent store got sucked up or absorbed by some of the Dollar Tree, absorbed some of them. And then some other stores absorbed some of them. Big Lots, what was the other party? I'm still devastated by that. So again, maybe that's what you want to do. Maybe you want to jump into the affiliate game. There's been a lot of people who have made money in the affiliate game. They jump in, jump out, jump in, jump out. Maybe you want to sell on a different platform. You know, Amazon, you're pretty much at 50% at this point, even though they say it's not 50%, but all the fees and the charges and all the other stuff, and you can't get back 100% of your money if they lose your inventory, blah, 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 all the stuff that Amazon is doing to sellers right now. So maybe Amazon is for you, but maybe you have an amazing idea and the ROI on that amazing idea is like 3,000% or 300%. So it still makes sense for you to sell on Amazon. I don't know. But you need to be thinking about for 2025, what's your business model going to be? Maybe you're going to mix it up. First quarter, maybe you're going to try maybe print on demand. And second quarter, you're going to keep doing print on demand and throw in some wholesale. And then third quarter, maybe you're going to do like whatever you're going to do, whatever that happens to be. Okay. So what is your game plan for 2025? Last thing is some of your operations. These are things you should be doing in your business every single month. You should be doing some level of assessment or analysis on what it is that you're doing towards these activities. So first thing you need to do, you put together your business plan. Now you need to figure out what your operations is going to be. What is your strategy for research? This is something that you can create a standard operating procedure or SOP that a VA, virtual assistant, can go ahead and execute for you. Somebody that maybe lives in another country where you can get them at a lower rate, hourly rate, and you can pay them directly. So maybe what's your research strategy? And if you know what your research strategy is, maybe you spend some time recording a Loom video and you write it out in written form and you record the little video and you give that to a VA and let them execute it. So they can do product research for you, so you can take that off of your plate, give it to somebody else. Same thing with your sourcing strategy. Again, what types of products do you normally like to source? What do you know well? What do you have a lot of information on? Or maybe you haven't figured that out yet, and this may be the year that you establish that. If you can build an SOP, a standard operating procedure around it, you can outsource that work to somebody else. And then that allows you to work less and less in your business. You can focus on the things that are actually going to make you more money. Okay. Maybe you feel like your strength is actually creating the listings or creating doing the keyword research. And maybe that's your strength. And so you want to outsource all the other work to somebody else. If they can do that, let them do it if it's possible. If you don't have the money, you got to do it until you make enough money to be able to outsource it. Same thing with your listing strategy, your shipping strategy. Are you going to ship yourself? Are you going to outsource it to a warehouse or not a warehouse, sorry, a fulfillment center? If you're not going to outsource it to a fulfillment center and you're going to do it, are you going to hire some of the high schoolers in your neighborhood to have them do shipments for you 3 times a week? You could do that and still be able to meet your requirements, or 4 times a week after school. Also, your customer service and return strategy. Again, I have a VA who goes through. She's required to go check to see if we have any messages on any of the platforms. She's required to go respond to those things. She's been taught how to do that. So I don't have to do that. She only sends me stuff that she doesn't know how to handle, because she's been given what we call a decision tree, an if then else. So she can go do that work. So again, for 2025, do you have any of these things in place? If not, you probably want to write this down, so that if 2025, your game plan is to eventually get to the place where you're making enough money where you can outsource to a VA, then you have standard operating procedures and strategies for them to follow, action steps, operational steps for them to follow. Okay. Administrative stuff. These are things that you should be looking at least once a month. Okay. You should be reconciling your inventory. You should be reconciling your account balances. You should be checking order fulfillment. Especially if you're using a fulfillment center, or if you're outsourced, like you're doing drop shipping, checking to make sure shipments are going out in a timely manner. And if there is a need to, you need to change your business from what it is right now. Maybe it's a sole proprietorship. Maybe you want to establish an LLC or something else, an S Corp. Again, looking at the things, am I set up right for the kind of money I'm bringing in right now? If I go from where I am right now with a startup subscription service and it takes off like crazy for this business that me and my business partner are looking at for 2025, and it takes off like crazy, then we may need to change our structure so that we can take advantage of any of the tax breaks. So again, that's the kind of stuff that you need to be looking at on a regular basis, at least once a month, to say, am I positioned well for this or not? Traffic strategy, meaning driving traffic to your listings, paying for ads, paying for whatever. With AI, you can do a lot of the work when it comes to creating the listing title, description, the keywords, the back-end keywords, all of that stuff. So you can start getting some organic traffic. And then because there's so many other AI tools like TaskRabbit and Make that can send your listings to other platforms for you, you don't have to do that work yourself. Maybe you don't pay as much for Amazon ads or campaigns and Google ads and all that other stuff. Okay. And then what are you doing on a monthly basis to make sure you're staying caught up on the latest and greatest, especially with the fact that AI has things changing like crazy? These are all things you need to be thinking about for 2025. So I just gave you a bunch of stuff to think about for 2025. I need you to write all of those things down. So with that being said, we're going to take all the stuff that I just threw at you. Your brain might be full. And we're going to take all of that and we're going to do something with it tomorrow. So we're going to start with focus, and we're going to put our game plan together. We're going to use the next couple of slides to build the game plan. So I hope this was helpful. I don't know who's still here, who's gone. I don't know how much information you retained. Let me stop sharing my screen. And I just want to open it up for questions. I know I threw a bunch of stuff at you, so I'm going to stop the recording real quick and give you the opportunity to ask any questions you want to ask.